وانا
Oh, so okay, and we are live. I'm really privileged today. Good evening, everybody who's in the Middle East, and good morning for those who are in Americas, and some of them good afternoon. And we are really privileged to have you, Ahmed, today. Actually, يعني you are, يعني I worked with you 5 years back, and I believe I learned a lot from your. It was about 7 years back, 2014. Yes,
yeah, about
time passes too fast, you know. And I recall at this stage I was still junior in the consulting business, and I was still
junior guru مش كده that was your definition
junior guru.
fair enough.
So actually, I believe that yani, you are one of the the marks that I have in my life, in putting impact, in results with the clients. I believe that this is something, how to assess creating impact and how to create impact with the client was something that really I learned a lot from you. And today, I believe that our main title is about management consulting, and I'm really in the place of asking you to just to start from there and understand what management consulting is all about and how people actually have to relate to it. Who is a management consultant and what? And there are many questions here. Who's a guru? Who's somebody that I go to? How can I prepare myself to go for a management consultant? And I'm really privileged to have you here, Ahmed. Thank you for being there.
Thank you so much, Muhammad. It's my honor and privilege. The big question is, who is a management consultant? These days, everybody is a management consultant, and I can't really have a clear view of. But I've been a management consultant for 25 years, and I claim that I'm a management consultant. Okay. But let's agree on a few things. First, a management consultant is someone who helps companies move from one point to another. So if you are a company that's moving into digital transformation, then the consultant who will help you do this transformation will be a management consultant, okay? Or a consultant, let's call it. So consultants are there to help clients change, move from one point to another. Consultants should be people who have experience so they can help clients avoid the same mistakes that other clients did in the past. Consultants should have a good exposure and they understand how things work. So the issue is you're sitting with a client and you've been there before. This is what makes you a valuable consultant, is that you've seen this movie before. Okay, you know how this scenario ends in a way, so you can help your client avoid hitting a brick wall as usual. The challenge with clients is that each client believes that he's a very unique, special story. And what I realized with time is, no, some stories are quite similar. Okay. And if you read business cases and you work with clients in consulting, you start to realize this. We've seen this before. I always have the feeling of I had this conversation before. I met those guys before. Okay.
As if it is a deja vu, huh?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird when you go into a discussion and you feel that you know the next sentence. You know that the client says that, well, actually, Ahmed, we're a very unique company. We're quite different. I'm sure you've never worked with a company like us before. We have our special blend of culture that is not what you see in typical IT companies. And at the end of the day, it's a typical IT company. There's no difference whatsoever. But everyone thinks they're unique and they have their own story and own journey. And as a consultant, you have to buy into this if you really want to make a difference to them. But the challenge is when your clients are insisting on going through the same wrong path. And you keep fighting for it, and at the end of the day, they are entrepreneurs and they're very intelligent, and they insist on hitting the pool at the end of the road. So this is why I'll give you 3 very good advices I got from one of my mentors when I was a young consultant. That was 25 years ago. I was subcontracting for Booz & Co. Booz Allen Hamilton. It's a big consulting company in the UK and the US. And my boss told me when I was starting my career in consulting, He said, Ahmed, I'll give you 3 advices, and I want you to keep them because they'll be very useful for you in the future. Advice number 1, don't be surprised. Okay, you will meet a lot of crazy clients. Don't be surprised. It's okay. If you find people talking about hiring cats to drive trucks, just worry about their contracts and whether they will be outsourced or full time. This is what you should need to worry about. Okay, so this is number 1. Don't be surprised. Okay, if you see people insisting to do something that is obviously wrong, obviously, you don't need to have a PhD in anything to know it. Don't be surprised because people believe they can do anything. Okay, this is number 1. Number 2, don't answer a question unless you're asked. So you don't sit in meetings and just give away stuff and just talk about everything. You only talk when you're asked. If you're not asked, don't talk. And rule number 3, which I think is the best, you cannot be more Roman than the Romans. So if you keep convincing your clients, you try to help your clients, you try to tell them 100 times that they shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, and they insist on doing it, okay? Take it easy. I mean, don't go to war with your clients because they are thinking in a different way, okay? You just give them your advice, try to help them out, but don't lose them in a way.
Wow, these are very significant advices, and actually, yeah,
Very
I'm
basic,
really
very basic.
very deep, and I believe that I'm doing totally the opposite.
Bravo.
That's why I don't have many clients.
That's what makes you a unique consultant, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at creating a value and going to the client and really impacting them and making them
No,
see
but
things they don't normally see, so and putting some questions to think. So it's totally opposite to what
but actually, I'll tell you something that you hear these 3 advices 25 years ago, but you don't work with them until a few years down the road, when you start making mistakes, when you start entering into situations you shouldn't have, going into arguments with clients you shouldn't have, fighting with the son of the sheikh who owns half of the country because you think he's wrong, but he doesn't care. So at a point in time, you learn the hard way, okay? But it's always good to keep them in mind, the 3 advices, because they mean a lot, okay? The other thing you asked at the beginning, what are the qualifications of a good consultant, okay? Okay, I always put them into 4 categories. Okay, number 1, you need to be qualified. Qualified means you have a degree in something, you have a diploma in something, you've studied something. Okay, so say you want to be a management business consultant, then we're talking an MBA, for example, is a good start. You cannot simply say I have passion about business, so I'm going to become a consultant. You cannot do that. Okay? Though a lot of people do it. Especially when clients are startups, people go to them and say, I can be your coach or your mentor, and he has 0 business experience. Okay, so qualifications, you have to be educated and qualified. You have to be certified from a couple of establishments that make sense. For example, we have an institute called the Institute of Management Consultants, who provide a certificate called Certified Management Consultants, which is CMC. This is a global certificate that I think in Egypt we have something like 20-something people who are certified. Usually, if you're working for one of the big consulting companies, this would be a certificate they would like you to have to put you as a CV in there, as one of the team members in their consulting project. So being a certified management consultant, that's one. Apart from qualifications, you need to have experience. You have to have worked on projects before. You have to engaged with clients before. You need to have participated in transitions or in change activities. You need to have some experience. You've seen something before, okay? Because you're supposed to lead your client or help him reach the safe shore of success, if you want to call it. And if you haven't done it before, then you are simply trying with him, or you're learning in practicing with him, and this is not what you're being paid money for. Okay, so experience is very important. Whether your experience come from your own business, that's good. Whether you worked for big companies before, even better. worked as a junior in consulting companies on projects, so you gained experience, also is good enough. But you need to have experience. You cannot simply go, because this is why I think it's always difficult to have your first client. Because the
Yeah.
question will always be, why would your first client ever work with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is number 2, experience.
Mm.
Number 3, competencies. Consultants have need to have a number of competencies. One of them is strategic thinking. Another one is analytical skills, problem solving, documentation. Yeah, Muhammad, documentation is very important because in a lot of cases, your deliverables are documents.
Yeah.
Okay, at least phase 1, you're doing a diagnostic study, you would provide a presentation or a document. You cannot tell them simply, guys, come in, I'll tell you a story about your company. You cannot tell them a story, you need documentation. Definitely all what has to do with influencing, presentation, communication. I mean, you're in the business of convincing a client to change something he's doing. So your convincing skills or persuasion skills or persuasion competence becomes extremely important. Okay, so you have to have the ability to articulate something, to explain something, to prove something, to use metaphors and examples to get a client to look at things differently, accept a different point of view. You need all these basic, these are not very basic competencies. Some of them are quite advanced. But again, these are competencies you need to have. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to go into consulting, I highly recommend for anyone who's a junior consultant or someone who wants to start, please work on building these competencies. Okay. I like you have them on the screen, and I really appreciate this, Muhammad. Again, as you said, analytical skills, problem solving, influencing, persuasion, listening, definitely, I love it. Coaching and mentoring are some of the competencies for a consultant. Okay. Um, right. If you look at my LinkedIn page, I have a very interesting logo I picked a long time ago. It says, common sense is my only superpower.
Yeah, I was really amazed when I saw your about. It's only this.
Yeah, I have nothing else. But I realized that you have to have some common sense. Okay. And because sometimes your clients don't have common sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes your clients are emotionally attached with the vision they have. Okay. They are emotionally attached with the product they created. Emotionally attached. Okay. So when emotions set in, people lose their logic and their common sense easily. And they start to twist facts to match their beliefs and emotions. And then you have an option to be a good consultant or a likable consultant. And these are two different terms, okay? A likable consultant, you will just do what your clients want and make them feel good about what they're doing. A good consultant will tell them, guys, what are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. This is not feasible. Guys, this business case will fail because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and this is the problem. We have a lot of clients in Egypt and globally. I wouldn't say I've seen it in the Gulf a lot, who are very likable and friendly consultants, and they make their clients very happy.
Yeah.
Okay, they're too agreeable. So the consultant says, "I think we can go global," and the consultant says, "Yeah, let's do it." Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not discussing value proposition. We're not discussing global market requirements. We're not discussing anything. We're just we're going for it. I mean, if you have passion and you have guts and you're courageous and you love life, you'll be successful. And this doesn't make any sense in consulting.
Yeah. We have a couple of comments and maybe questions. Yeah, one of them from Ibrahim Ramadan. You know, he's saying on Facebook. He says, so the key factor is in his experience and passed through different stories, and this is an acknowledgement to what you were saying. And we have actually Dua Munir. She's acknowledging on LinkedIn that CMC is new to her, and thank you for that. Also, Ibrahim Ramadan again, he's saying documents, you know, as part of, you know. So thanks for the comments. Yeah.
Can I? Yeah. Well, let me tell you something very important about document. I'm sorry to hate on documentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
We
learned the
have
hard way, by the way.
لا لا well, anyone who's watching this, Muhammad worked with our company for maybe a year or less, maybe a few
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
He hated his life working for us because
No, 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 no. Never, wallahi.
uh, because um, because as a consultant you are setting a certain bar. You have to meet a certain minimum requirement in front of your clients. So when it comes to documentation, reporting, assessment reports, any kind of document, presentations, even the slides you're presenting, they should be at a certain level and a certain quality that gives credibility to the content of these documents and slides. Okay, you cannot simply say no, but everything is there. Yeah, but this is not the perception of your client. He feels that one spelling mistake in the first slide will kill your presentation.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, regardless of how smart, intelligent, insightful it is. I mean, if you can't just write it. I have problems with CVs coming to me where the people's names are written with spelling mistakes. People cannot even write their name in English, their own name,
Yeah.
and they
The
want to join
presented
a
language, whatever what was it,
yeah,
يعني ده.
and
No.
they want to join a consulting company. So
Yeah.
this is where the irony begins. Okay, if you're a consultant, you have always to show in front of your client that you're good. يعني عارف, you can be his guide and teacher. يعني. And if you're doing such silly mistakes, if you cannot be there on time, if you cannot meet your deadlines, if you all these basic professional conduct for a consultant become game killers. يعني, because come on, يعني, you have to be good enough before telling us as executives what to do and what not to do. Should be able to come on time. يعني, فاهم? But these are the kind of discussions you can have. Finally, I just wanted to say something about the personal traits of a consultant. And this is so qualifications, experience, competencies, and traits. So this is the last one I need just to mention quickly. Consultants need to be courageous. Okay, they need to be assertive. They need to be willing to say something that might not appeal to your clients. Okay, they need to be structured. They need to be able to plan. And these personal traits makes those people quite rare people a bit. You might see these 4 or 5 traits as common and easy to have. Not really. They're not very common in our society and our level of education because we run from conflict. People are not good in conflict management. And actually, change and transformation has a lot of stakeholders and conflicts. So as a consultant, you should be willing to stand up and say what you think for the best interest of your client, rather than, again, be the amiable, tawafuqi kind of guy. Yani, you shouldn't be this guy. And again, some people would feel that, but you're too tough, Ahmed. You handle things in a different way. Well, I'm paid to do this. If you go to a doctor and he tells you you're fine and you're dying, then he's not a very good doctor, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to tell him you're dying, but again, you have to talk about the facts. You talk about the repercussions, how things are progressing. If we keep on a certain path, we will lose the good people in the company. So that change, let's adjust something. There will be a lot of politics in the organization of the client. So how are you going to deal with the politics? Are you going to play politics? Because some consultants do. Are you going to stay neutral and kind of distance yourself from politics? Are you going to support politics that supports your project? These are very interesting terms. Yeah, okay. And this is usually brings you to the term of integrity. So if you want to be a good consultant, you need to have integrity. And when people have integrity, they're not usually liked all the time. They're not the most popular people if they have integrity. Okay. In our society, integrity does not make you popular. I know it's a bad statement. I'm sorry for it. I'm very sorry. انا تدركت ان انا قلت جمله غلط دلوقتي. But this is true.
Yeah.
عشان كده being likable is not, you should, if you want to be a good consultant, don't put being likable as a key priority trait in your positioning or your perception.
Yeah.
Okay, يعني some people can do it, definitely. I can't,
Yeah.
but some people can do it, I'm sure.
So yeah.
Let me add something, ya Muhammad, sir. Okay. We always get the question of, if I'm someone who hasn't been a consultant before and I want to become a consultant, what should I do? It's a very common question we get all. I personally get all the time, and my sincere advice is, work for a consulting company, join the team of a consulting company, okay, and take the small tasks, take some of the administrative tasks, join some project, even attend as an observer. I mean, you don't have just, and you have to be around this profession to learn a lot from the people in it, okay. You don't go and get certificates. I mean, it's not about, I'll use the word in Arabic, أنا هشتغل على نفسي, which means I will stay alone, watch a lot of YouTube channels and YouTube videos, and I will do a couple of MBAs and certificates and become a consultant. You will not become a consultant. You will become an informed person. I can accept that. Okay. But consulting needs to, you have to join a team doing consulting. You have to participate. You need to attend tough meetings like the ones we attend as consultants. Okay. I remember we had a few years ago, we had an intern who joined our company during summer. He was a graduate, yani he finished university, and he joined us for maybe a couple of months. And when he came in, he said, I would like to be a consultant. I think your job is so nice. You guys are so well received. You are very well paid. Everyone sees you as very high level, smart, intelligent people. And I would love to be a consultant. And I told him, fine, you stay with us for a couple of months. And then he started to attend meetings with us, with clients. Okay. He's now working as a mechanical engineer. He realized that I cannot handle these meetings that you said. I cannot handle those people. Okay. Again, when you meet clients, number one, who are very successful in the past, number two, who are very powerful due to the size of their business or due to their connections, number three, who are used to people around them being yes people, saying yes sir all the time. They are used to this. Okay. They don't accept criticism easily. They don't accept someone telling them this is not the best thing to do. They cannot handle these situations. Not all of them, but some of them. And this is where the life of a consultant becomes tough, because if you want an honest answer, I think what we're doing will yield negative results in the future. Okay. As always, consulting is always about the future. It's not about the past. So I'm not here to improve your past. Definitely, I'm here to help you improve your future. Okay? So, and this is what you'll find, that whenever you talk about the future, they always talk to you about the past. But we've always been doing this. But when we started the company 20 years ago, we did this. 20 years ago, that was 2000. That was a totally different time and age and people and market and government and everything. I mean, since that time, there were revolutions, there was devaluations, there was the pandemics, there was everything. So you cannot come today and tell me, no, this worked 20 years ago. I wish it would continue, but sometimes you make some changes.
Yeah. Actually, what you are saying here about the transformation that happened in the market in the last few years, and it's 2 decades actually that you've been there, and you witnessed it all. I believe it was from very structured consulting programs or management consulting programs, and now it's too diverse, too diluted, and too many that are competing, that are in the market who claim to be management consultants. Yeah. And actually it's in a way it's very challenging now, even the here the even the customer readiness, that you're talking about powerful leaders who are smart, who have integrity, who have power. Now most of the clients, lots of clients and lots of companies that need management consulting, they are young leaders who just don't have any idea about the business, and they think that they know everything and they don't need any support, and they don't know how even to seek support. So what do you have here? Yeah.
Okay. Well, the point I agree, Muhammad, Mike. I agree 100% with what you said. Two things have changed. The customer base has changed. 20 years ago, we were working with corporates mainly and big family businesses. Okay. The boom of startups and the boom of entrepreneurs happened actually after the revolution. So we're talking from 2013, 14 until now. And this created a huge demand for consulting from a different kind of client, which is startups and entrepreneurs. At the same time, the market welcomed a new breed of consultants, which are young individuals. They're not consulting companies, they're not part of an establishment. They are freelance individual business coaches, if this is a nice term to use. Yeah. So you have a new market of small entrepreneurs, startups with their own culture and challenges in general. And you have the other pool of new consultants that are young, not very prepared, but actually they kind of match the requirements of the startups and the entrepreneurs on the other hand. Okay. For example, our company would find it very difficult to work with a startup, with a fresh startup that has just started. Okay, because they think in a different way than we do, and they have
Oh, Ahmed. Hello. Oh, yes, Ahmed, are you still there? It seems that there is a technical difficulty from one of our sides. I'm checking on it. Um, I hope that we can actually adjust this. So actually, I'll be waiting for Mr. Ahmed Badr to come back again after actually during the talk. It seems that there is an internet problem at his side. So yeah, and actually, I believe that there are some comments that came in from our audience. Thank you, Ibrahim Ramadan was actually saying, should I have experience in the same field of the company that I work with as a consultant? I guess Mr. Ahmed Badr just answered this question. Not sorry, didn't answer this question. He answered that that you should have experience in the consulting a consulting firm, even in a support function in a consulting firm before being a consultant. However, the field, I believe that this is a very good question to see if you are serving some verticals and others not. Actually, the experience of a vertical, for instance, the oil and gas field, the IT industry, telecom industry, the more you have experience in, the more that you're beneficial to the leadership and to similar industries, I guess. But I will actually wait for Mr. Ahmed Badr to come back again to the online. I'm just checking his call and coming back again. Just one moment. In 2 minutes, inshallah, Mr. Ahmed Badr will come back again. So, hopefully, it's okay. So, I believe on the other side, there is another question here also from Rimba to see difficult to work in a team while it is a real companies. Am I right? I guess you mean that it is not good companies or something like that, or maybe it is not in the head of consulting companies. Actually, being in the consulting business, you have to start at some point. So actually, like being in the telecom industry or being in other industries, you have to start somewhere, and it will move you to other places. So it's up to the opportunity that seems relevant and contextual. That is where you can actually move. And thank you for these two questions. I believe thank you for that. Um, so I believe that today I'll just go through يعني the brief of what happened in the live video. And actually, the question that we started is who is a management consultant? And actually it started with actually that someone who helps you to go from one place to another. And actually it comes in by experience, and they're actually that you have seen things that support your clients. And actually, Mr. Ahmed Badr also talked about the three advices that he took from that's in the start of his career as a management consultant from Booz Allen. And don't be surprised. The second one, don't answer questions that you were not asked. And number three was you cannot be more Roman than the Romans themselves. So I'll go back again to yeah. Here you are back again. Thank you.
Sorry.
And there was a very good question. Yeah, internet. It's very very normal.
Yeah, my fault.
لا you don't need to معلش here. Thank you. No. So it's very normal. Thank you actually for coming back. Actually, there was a very good question that came in the chats here, and it was here it's about working. Do I have to have experience in the same field of the company that I will work for as a consultant? I believe that he's talking about the verticals. About if I'm a telecom, if I'm serving, for instance, I have a telecom IT engineering background, so will I serve better these industries and these verticals, or do I also have the opportunity to work with other verticals at the same time?
Okay, great question. Okay, from a client point of view, they prefer people from their own industry. Okay? From a benefit point of view for the client, you have to be from another industry.
Wow, that's
Let
that's
me
a
tell you
dichotomy.
why. Yes, and this is why you can be a very good consultant for a client, but the client doesn't want to take you because you're not an engineer or you're not an IT guy. While
Okay.
you could be the best, you could be. I'll give you an example. I think I have a very good example. Okay, some companies in the telecom industry, when they wanted to grow their business, they attracted people from the fast-moving consumer industry, the fast-moving consumer goods industry. So actually, the sales team of the biggest telecom company, without naming names, yani, at a point in time, they were from Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Nestle, and Henkel. They did not have degree in telecommunication, and they did not come from telecom companies. Okay, so when you need to change your direction, it's better not to get people from the same background as you, because they will tell you exactly what you do. So there's no benefit for the client. Okay, so the problem is, again, clients like people who are similar to them, but in most cases it's better to get a person who's not from the same background, because they will provide insights, they will provide a different approach to things, and they can really make a change for the company.
Wow, that's very profound, and actually, that's maybe brings to me the value of being among a team of consultants with a blend or different mindsets who actually meet the client. And even it was maybe a part of something like gender intelligence, actually having different genders in the same meeting, having different generations, having different backgrounds, going teaming up as a team of consultants, to listen and actually put a solution for the client afterwards. It depends, of course, on
I can give you an example that some industries, they have a very strong culture. For example, the IT industry. When you go to a software development house, for example, okay?
Yeah.
A software development house is full of developers, IT people who think in a certain way. And you want to introduce a marketing concept. A marketing concept. You want to introduce a marketing plan and a business development strategy that is new to them. Okay? They will always think of the product and the service as their key strengths.
Yes.
Which is not the case. It's the strength is in the market need, not in the product.
Yeah.
If you have a market, if there is a market ready for you, then you have a strength. If you have a super car and there are no streets in the country you're in, okay, it doesn't make any difference. So when you start dealing with engineers, or I'm an engineer by education, yeah, but when you start to deal with engineers and they want to grow the business, and it's not about efficiency anymore, it's more about value proposition, marketing, segmentation, and customer experience. Okay, you don't want to get a developer to tell them that. Okay, as you said,
He would
I've
be
seen.
biased to the solution and the
Yeah,
technicality and
he
the
will
yeah.
think in the same way, and he will promote the same agenda, and they will love him. He's like us, so we love him because he's like us. Okay, وكان دفعتنا في الجامعة مثلا. And this is a challenge because actually you don't need to meet people who are like you when it's time to change or to do something new. You need to find people who are different than you to do something new. Okay, and as you said, I really like what you said. Usually it's not one single consultant that will make the transformation and make the difference. It's a group. Okay, so one of them will be able to take care of the culture, another one will be able to take care of the processes, a third one will take care of the leadership and the management aspects of the business. I don't think there is one single management consultant who can manage all these facets of the business well. Okay, يعني every consultant needs to have a focus area, but he knows a few things about the rest. But personally, I am an organization restructuring consultant. This is my focus area. Okay, so I never consult in marketing or sales or business development because I understand them. I've done projects with them, but definitely I'm not the right guy to talk about marketing strategy, for example. I'm not the guy to do this.
Yeah. And that's really appreciated, actually putting focus in the service and deliverable, and actually teaming up with those who can support you
Absolutely.
with complements your strengths. And this is something that's rare of the people who do it, unless they're mostly employees at a company,
Yeah.
rather than being business owners or loaners, that I will do everything for you, this kind of company that
Uh,
I'm
actually, when you talked about the new market of entrepreneurs and startups, a lot
yeah.
of business coaches present themselves as I can take care of everything in your package.
Yeah.
They
And it's a
say, well,
pity.
I'll work with you on the strategy, and I'll work with you on the organization. I'll work with you on the everything because I'm a guru. I have an MBA, so I understand everything. And the challenge is that doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
Okay, the challenge you will see, Muhammad, with entrepreneurs and startups, that you have two types of consultants. Okay, أنا هخسر عملاء في الجملة دي يا محمد. Okay, you have the startup who wants to build a certain package that is appealing to investors
Mm.
for the second round and the third round of financing. So as a consultant, what I need you to do for me, not to mess up things. I just need you to make me look good and ready for the second round of investment or the first round, whichever. Okay. Other real consultants are not focused on this window dressing and how to make people look better for investors. Good consultants are concerned with building a sustainable, successful business model so that this company will succeed and continue. Not just we just want to win this prize. There's the prize for entrepreneurs for $100,000, and we want to win it. فظبطني to be able to win it. That's not consulting. That's a makeup artist, and that's not really what we are looking at in our profession. We build success for our clients. We build sustainable success for our clients. We don't simply make our clients look good. We don't simply promote our clients. Okay, that's not our job. Okay, sorry, that's not my job. Let me talk about myself. So that's not my job. Okay, other people believe in we need a consultant that can write posts about us online, a guy who can put us in the market, a guy who can introduce us to investors, a guy who would help us convince investors to put money in the company while the company itself is a disaster. I
Yeah.
don't think this is a real. It's
And
not
it's a
really.
pity. It's a pity that everything, when I'm working with venture capitals and investments and maybe startups, I see managers who are totally stressed out with a massive turnover in their staff. They really
Yeah,
attract talented people, but for very short times. It's only a retention period of something like average of 9 to 10 months.
yeah, yeah.
Because actually
No,
they're running all the time, they're keeping everybody on fire, everybody, and nobody can sustain this. It's always a
yes.
burnout.
And actually, and also you need to know something that 90% of these startups fail within the first year of operations,
Yeah,
unless they get a case of life from another investor who can push them another year ahead. And they're focused on
very true.
surviving and getting investors and hiding from the old investors and attracting the new investors. Okay, this is the game, yeah. And in
Yeah.
reality, we don't have a system in the company. We don't have good people on board. We don't have any system of delegation of authority of running the business. We don't actually take care of our clients as we should. We're
Yes.
not doing the real work, but we're
Yes.
stressed. We're running around like headless chickens. We are wearing suits and going to presentations to venture capitalists and to investors, and we think this is the game.
And it's not.
Actually, this is not the game. And actually, we got a lot of requests from companies at this stage where they're simply still working, and we tell them, do you want to really build the company or do you want to look good? You just tell me, and if you just want to look good, I'll give you a couple of numbers, a couple of people who can do this for you, because you cannot be missing all the important parts of building sustainable business model and just focusing on we need to get someone for the presentation and we need to get an outsourced company to build the presentation that we are presenting for the investors. And our old investors, they filed the case against us because they want their money. So we need to find new investors to give some money to the old investors. And we think this is the smart business. This is silly. This is ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, the market for entrepreneurs and startups have some brilliant people, very intelligent people. They're doing things that no one ever thought to, but they stop at being intelligent. I mean, I appreciate that, but they are simply very intelligent. They're
Yeah.
not good CEOs. They're not good managers. They cannot run an operation. They cannot hire good people and retain them. They cannot delegate ABC management delegation. They cannot delegate.
Yeah.
And suddenly they become vulnerable to some difficulties in the market, and usually they shut down. They usually go to Dubai. Actually, if you want to know where they go, they usually travel to Dubai and pretend that they opened a new company there, and that's it.
Yeah. And actually, in a way, their mental health is in real
In serious, yeah. This is
serious
this
challenges.
is
I
what
see
again.
people
This
that
is
really
this is
transformed
where
into monsters, and
yeah.
they
Well,
don't
this
really
is
feel
what
it.
yeah. This is the point where their emotional charge takes over
Yeah.
and their common sense collapses.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking this week with a friend of mine, one of the gurus, the real gurus, ya Muhammad,
Mm.
of coaching in Egypt.
Yeah.
And he told me that some of these people, they are now running, they're fighting a fight in their heads. Okay? They're stressed, they don't sleep, they are going in circles, actually. This is the right way to say it. They're running in circles. Okay, they are frustrating and destroying the lives of everyone that works with them in their companies,
Yes.
and they're wasting the money of their shareholders. So common sense for them does not exist. You cannot talk sense to them. You cannot sit and tell them about a plan or a roadmap. They cannot do that.
Yeah.
Okay, if someone does works for 18 hours and cannot sleep, okay, cannot sit and say I'm doing strategic thinking. I have a problem with that. You're not doing you are having twilight dreams that are vague. Okay, and you're not really doing strategic thinking.
Yes.
And This is the point. So I think consultants and business coaches and mentors and all these nice terms that people use these days, working with startups and entrepreneurs, they really need to sit and talk seriously and deeply with their clients, because the game we're playing, the dance we're dancing, is not real, and it will destroy the entrepreneur himself, his wealth, his money, his shareholders, and his employees who believed in him one day. Remember, this entrepreneur is always an inspiring, visionary guy who is going
Yes.
to change the world. You know, this kind of person, ya Muhammad.
Yes.
So a lot of believers will join him on his or her quest,
Yeah.
and there some of them will be willing to leave stable full-time jobs to join his adventure going to the stars with his new startup.
Very true.
He does not have the right to turn crazy at the end.
Yes.
Okay. So actually, when I sit with those people and I say these words, automatically our contract ends, because they don't want this. They want people to tell them, you're so amazing. This is a breakthrough. No one ever thought about this. You're such. The problem with the people around you, they're too slow for you. They are
Yes.
so limited minded, and you're such a genius, and you're just the only guy who ever thought ever in the life, in the history of humankind. That's awful. We're creating monsters, and when they fail, we just go for the next one as
Yeah.
consultants. I
That's
like this
very true.
statement. It wasn't bad, actually. I write it in my next slides. Okay.
And customers will hate us more and more.
If you really care, Muhammad,
Yeah.
if you're a consultant and you have
Yeah.
integrity and you care about if you care about your children, ya Muhammad, sometimes you won't be very nice.
Yes. That's very true.
You will not simply agree on what they want to do just to make them happy. The reason is because you care about your children.
Yes.
Okay. In consulting, clients are not my children, so this is understandable. Yani. Some of them
Yeah.
are older than I am. But at the point in time, if you have integrity and you want to help and protect your client, and I really insist on the word protect your client, you cannot simply agree with what he's doing all the time. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing. Actually, it
Well,
has been. I just looked at the time. We took 47 minutes instead of 30. I took very much more than your time. It was an amazing discussion, Ahmed. Really, really. Yani I learned a lot. I learned really a lot today. Yeah, it's for me. It was all. Yani lots of new points, and and actually, it makes me actually contemplate, because it landed with something that I'm having these days. I'm having a struggle that with, and I need that. I needed these words to come in and land. Thank you for that. And I hope actually we had a great engagement today, from the audience, many questions, and
great.
this was really amazing. So
Great.
I believe that we need another talk to actually
I
to talk about
cannot
the customer
use
readiness. Are
I
you ready for
cannot
it or
use
not?
more clients than the ones I lost today, Muhammad. Unfortunately.
Episode 2,
Uh,
we will talk about that clients, how to be ready to work with the customer
yeah,
readiness.
maybe
How to hire and recruit a consultant and make it impactful, and keep yourself ready with the budget, the ROI. How to start.
yeah.
Yeah, when to call and how to call them, how to engage with them, how to benefit from the contract, and actually how to put pressure on the consultant to get your job as you agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
Sarah Abu
Uh,
Alanin is saying thanks for these brilliant words,
Thank you,
and
sir. You're
Sami
so kind.
is saying thanks a lot. This was really informative. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
sir. Thank you, Allah. Thank you.
yeah,
All right. We'll meet soon, ya Muhammad, inshallah. All right.
inshallah.
Thank
So
you. Thank
let's
you so
let's
much.
let's agree on another one. So thank you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
It's
Bye.
appreciated. Goodbye. Bye bye. And broadcast. Yeah.